Hi everybody, welcome to Fear Food Fixes. Today we're going to tackle an interesting fear food because there are more than the usual reason to fear it. Today we're going to be tackling caviar. So why do people fear caviar? A number of reasons. They're worried that it's going to taste fishy. They're worried about the texture because they're little round balls with liquid inside, which kind of has like a pop with moisture in it, like a tomato. And a lot of people are worried about the texture of that as well. And then there's the vast expense. And also, the last reason to fear it is its sustainability. Because a lot of sturgeon caviar is fished by just catching a bunch of sturgeon, cutting them all open, hoping there are eggs inside, and if they're not, throwing the cut open sturgeon back into the water, which is a ridiculous way to look for fish eggs. Farmed sturgeon caviar is fine because they wait till the sturgeon lays the eggs, scoop them up, and use those. Otherwise, you'll want to use caviar from fish that we normally eat anyway. So they catch the fish, they're going to fillet it up for you, and they go, oh wait, there's eggs inside, we'll save these and sell them. So salmon caviar, herring caviar, black lumpfish, those kind of things, those are fish you're going to be eating anyway. So the caviar is not doing any more harm to the environment than eating a piece of salmon would. So if you're vegetarian, yeah, you probably still aren't going to eat caviar. But if you're a cruelty-free eater, you can eat most kinds of caviar without too much worry. The price, well, this jar of caviar is about $7 or $8, depending on what supermarket you buy it at. I do not use it as an entree, because if you use caviar as an entree, you'll need like 4 of these to have a big bowl of caviar with a bunch of toast and cheese, and it would be, you know, a $30, $40 dinner per person to eat caviar as your entree. I use it as a fine seasoning, similar to like saffron or cumin or oregano. You're not going to eat a giant bowl of cumin. If you do, it would be super gross and it'd be very expensive to eat a big bowl of cumin. So we're not going to do that with our caviar either. The flavor of caviar is very similar to a fine sea salt. It's very salty. It has like a briny taste that reminds you of standing in front of the ocean with that salty spray hitting you in your face. It's very delicious if you use it in small amounts. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use it to garnish an appetizer, to add color, to be our salt element as part of the appetizer, and to add a delicious briny flavor. So we're going to make a potato appetizer. So we're going to slice potato coins nice and thin. I think these are a little less than 1/4 of an inch thick. You can use a mandolin on its widest setting, or you can just use a knife and be very careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tray of potato coins and I'm going to bake them in the oven at about 425. You can see I've used multiple colors of potato because that's more fun. And I'm going to put them in the oven, 425, for about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to flip them halfway through so that both sides develop a golden brown color. And then I have to wait until they chill completely because we're going to be using sour cream in this recipe. You can also use creme fraiche or mascarpone cheese if you prefer. But you need to get your potato coins browned and beautiful, which I'm going to get another tray out here. So we're going to get our potato coins brown and gorgeous like this one. Potato coin. And then we're going to let them cool, completely cool. So I'm going to transfer these to a nice cold plate to help them cool faster. Alright, I have removed all of my potatoes from the pan and put them in alternating colors because I like them to be pretty on a nice cool plate. So now they are cool to the touch. Otherwise, when we put our creme fraiche or a sour cream or a mascarpone cheese in there, it would just melt into a big runny mess, and we don't want that to happen. So once they're cool, we can start. And I'm going to show you how to do something called making a quenelle. You make a small one, so it's not technically a quenelle. A real quenelle would be a rounded spoon size. These are going to be smaller because put a rounded spoon size of sour cream on each one of these tiny little potato rounds, that'd be a bit richer than we want. Basically, to make a canal, you're just going to roll your spoons around until this gets beautiful and flat, nice and smooth. So we want to make a beautiful little round shape. And we're going to put that on our potatoes. So we're smoothing it, scooping it off the spoon, smoothing it like this, scooping it off the spoon. We're going to smooth that over the top, and we're going to scoop it off the spoon until it becomes this nice round. See how it's kind of like a pretty egg-shaped oval? Just like that. That one's big, so I'm going to put on a bigger potato. So I'll do a smaller one this time so you can see some smaller potatoes. So in the middle of the spoon, like this, I'm going to roll my other spoon on top and scoop. Roll my other spoon over the top and scoop until this starts to get really smooth and pretty. Right about now. Now it's nice and smooth and looks nice. You can do this by dollops too. You don't have to make a canal. You can just go drop, drop, drop all over the plate until you got every single one covered with sour cream. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you how to add our caviar. Okay, so I've made our plate. Now every single one has sour cream. And I'm going to pick them up carefully and individually. I've got about 4, maybe 5 pieces of caviar on my fork here. I'm going to add those delicately on top of the sour cream. So you can see it looks really pretty. I'm going to take a tiny sprig of fresh parsley, because if there's one thing we know about potatoes, is that they go well with parsley. Think of every single baked potato you've had in your life. It had sour cream and parsley on it. Now that makes the most beautiful little appetizer you've ever seen. And because we only used 4 pieces of caviar, this little jar is going to make 6 or 7 plates of potatoes like that. So you can have this in your jar in your fridge for 2 months. And you can do this over and over and over again for different guests. You can add it to your omelets in the morning. You can put it on top of a baked potato. It goes excellent with eggs. You can make deviled eggs with a little fancy twist of caviar on top. It doesn't have to be expensive to use this as a spice. And it doesn't have to taste super fishy when you use it as a briny, salty seasoning. This is my favorite way to have potatoes. Oh my goodness. It's sensational. It's a little fishy, but in a good way, like a salty, briny, seafood kind of way. It's very salty, which just works perfect with potato. It makes it taste like the best potato chip you've ever had in your life. I hope you enjoyed Fear Food Fixes for this week. And if you have a fear food, make sure you post it in the comments section along with why you fear it. It doesn't have to be if you're afraid of the flavor. You can be worried about the cost, how complicated it is to make, how long it takes to make. If you've got a food that seems scary to you, I bet you I can fix it. See you next week.